Salutations. Salutations, and welcome to Shauna's Kitchen, where every day is a new day, and today is honey wheat bread day. So if you're new here, thank you for joining me. If not, then welcome back. Just so you know, we're going to get started, and all you'll need is 6 ingredients. I've already warmed up my water. It is at 111 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and set my thermometer aside now that I know. I have 1 package of instant yeast. I'm just going to go ahead and add that to the water because we're at the right temperature. I'm going to go ahead and give that a little gentle stir. I'm going to make sure that my yeast is all in the water so that it can dissolve. Now I actually do not have to do this stuff when I'm making bread. With this kind of yeast, you can go simply straight into the bowl with your flour and other ingredients. But I like to get my yeast pre-activated. So, you're also going to need 3 cups of wheat flour, 1/8 of a cup of raw unfiltered honey, 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, and 1 teaspoon of Himalayan rock salt. I'm going to give this about 5 minutes to go ahead and get set up. And in that time frame, I'm going to get out my bowl, and I've already used my Crisco and pre-prepared it so that we can put the dough straight in when it's ready. I have also pulled out my dough hook so that I can use that with my KitchenAid. You do not have to use that. You can do this by hand, but it's much easier for me to just go ahead and use the dough hook along with my KitchenAid. And with this dough, it is very unforgiving, and you do not need to use a sifter, but however, I enjoy sifting my flour prior to using it. So while we're going to go ahead and we're going to set our yeast aside, and while that is setting up, I'm going to go ahead and put my 3 cups of flour through my sift. And there's 1. Two. And yes, things like that happen sometimes. But the beauty for me is I actually know that my jar has 3.5 cups of pre-measured flour. So here is my 3.5 cups now sifted. And again, this is a wheat flour, honey wheat flour recipe. All right, and now that we have that in, we're going to go ahead and pull over the Himalayan salt, and we're going to put in our 1 teaspoon to our sifted flour. Set that aside. And I have pre-measured out 1 tablespoon of the coconut oil, and I am going to put that in as well. Actually, I'm not. I want to mix my water first. Let's go ahead and set that back down. Now, put my dough hook on. Okay. Set my honey aside. I have pre-measured honey. I'm going to take a look over here. All right. All of my yeast is mixed in with the water. I do not have to wait the whole 10 minutes for it to become the foaminess like I mentioned prior, because this is a bread. I'm just going to go ahead, because all of my yeast is mixed, there's nothing on the bottom, I know that it is starting to proof. So I'm going to go ahead and add that right into the KitchenAid mixer. All right, we'll lock it. And I'm just going to do a slow pulse at first so that I don't get my flour poofing up. All right, that actually went really well. So I'm going to give that just a few seconds to get going. I'm leaving it on the low setting. And while that's working together, I'm going to go ahead. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in the 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. Now you can use any kind of oil, from sunflower oil, avocado oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, Crisco oil. I'm working to be healthier with our family, so I thought I'd give coconut oil a try today. It's the first time I've made bread with the coconut oil. I thought it would meld well with the honey and the wheat. Alright, so now I do have the 1/8 cup or 2 tablespoons of honey added in. And now that I have the 6 ingredients, again, to recap, that would be the water mixed in with the fast-acting yeast, 1 packet. And then as soon as the yeast was mixed, I added to 3.5 cups of wheat flour, as well as the 2 tablespoons, or equal to 1/8 cup of honey, raw honey, and 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, as well as 1 teaspoon of Himalayan rock salt, to equal our 6 ingredients. Now the bread is kind of moving up. You can see how it's popping up out of the top, and that's all right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop, and I'm going to push that down a little bit. Because I have used the coconut oil, the mixture is not really going to be sticky, nor is it going to try to pull back from me as I'm preparing it. I do want this to have the gloss and shine to it. I do not want it to be tacky. So I do not want to knead. So I'm going to go ahead and set my timer on the stove for 6 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and mix on medium-high for 6 minutes, and I'll get right back to you. Alright, it's actually been only 3 minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and stop the timer, and I've unlocked and pulled up, and as you can see, it comes out in 1 piece, and that's what I'm looking for. So there's really no need to continue on. What I will do though is check by taking my hands and doing a pull and a roll to make sure that it's not tacky on the inside. And oh, it's actually pulling back. See how the bread is separating this way and it's not really forming and staying together as a ball? I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a hand over hand for a minute and see if we can get that to look a little nicer. What I'm going to do is reach down in the bottom here and I'm going to pinch it together just to close it up. I'm going to set my bread in here and let it rise for about 15-20 minutes. It's pretty warm in here today, so after 15-20 minutes I will come back and let you see what it looks like. The idea here is I'm just wanting to get my bread to double in size, or approximately double in size, and when that's done we'll be ready to punch it down, do one more roll through, and put it into the bread pan, let it rise back up for about another 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what it takes to bring it to the peak at the top of my pan. And as as it's rising, I will preheat at 400 degrees so that when the bread is ready, the oven is ready as well. So I'll be back to you as soon as this bread has doubled. All right, so while the bread is raising, I thought we'd take this time to do a quick pick and clean up in the kitchen as well as prepare our bread pan. So here is my bread pan. I've taken my Crisco and I like to use a Ziploc bag, and I actually leave it in the Crisco. And all I'm doing is putting it in the bottom of my pan and all the way around, making sure to get every corner and crack because I don't want my bread to stick. Alright, and that's what she looks like. We got a little on the outside. That's okay. And just stick it back in. So next time when I want, all I gotta do is reach in and pull it out. So handy, so clean, saves water, time, energy, and I don't get it all over my hands. Alright, so let's take a look at our bread. It's been a half an hour. Definitely doubled in size. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my hands and just kind of rub it around that greasy bowl a little bit, so when I grab a hold of it, it's still greasy. I'm going to flip it over, so now the greasy side is up, and I'm going to just punch it down, and I'm going to roll it. Now, you could choose to get your counter dirty, or you could just pull it out. This bread, because of what we've done to it, is not really needing to be kneaded or anything. It just needed to be closed up on the bottom. I just turned it inside of itself one time. Now some people will flatten this down at this point, roll it out a little bit, and then roll it into like a cinnamon roll or a ho-ho shape. But I'm actually just going to kind of make it oblong because I want it to fit. I don't want to overwork my dough because I don't want it to be hard. So now I'm just going to set it down. And this is what it looks like at this moment. Now I'm just simply going to take a clean towel and I'm going to set over the top, and I'm going to let it sit for 30 minutes to a half an hour. And when it peaks up to the top, then we will get it into the oven. I'm going to set my timer because in 30 minutes I'm actually going to turn on the oven so that it is preheated at 400 degrees when my bread is ready. Alright, so it's set for 30 minutes. I'm done with this. I'll clean up my mess. Didn't mean to drop that. Clean up my mess and I will get right back to you. Okay, it's been an hour. The bread has had time to rise, so we'll take off the towel and take a look. And it is just about level with the top. More on one side than the other, but we're going to go ahead and go with it because not every loaf of bread is perfect. So I have that oven preheated. I'm going to go ahead and stick it in there. And I'm going to set my timer. Actually, my timer is set in case you caught my homemade cheeseburger burger pie. It's in the oven too. And we have 22 minutes on the timer. So when the timer goes off, I'll go ahead and check both of them. The bread should take me about 45 minutes, and I'm expecting the pie to take another 10. So we'll check back as soon as the timer goes off. Okay, it's been 25 minutes, and the timer's going off. We're going to go ahead and take a look inside. Oh. Alright. Alright, I'm going to have to get a whole nother grip on that. So the bread is out. It's beautiful. It's hot. Real fast. That off. Turn off my oven. went ahead and I got some butter, 1 tablespoon of butter pre-melted, and I'm just putting that on the top. Every fresh baked bread should have some fresh butter on top. Now if you want, you can always add some sesame seeds or something else. You could also even take some whole oats if you wanted to, whole oats, and incorporate to the top of this. I did see that other people do that. I was thinking about trying the everything, like the everything bagel spices, and seeing how that works on top. Maybe on the next time. This time I just wanted to keep it original for my husband because this bread is for him. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and take that. Slice that out. Super easy. I love it. Set that back up. Alright. And that is a beautiful loaf of honey, honey whole oat, wheat, not oat. Excuse me, I was thinking about my next video where I wanted to do whole oat. This is honey wheat bread. Alright, let's get a knife. It's still pretty hot, so I recommend that you let it cool for an hour. But I'm going to see what we can do. Oh yeah, beautiful. I want to actually use the lines here on my area so that I can know how thick I'm doing them. Put my finger on top. Beautiful. And the next one. Alright, we're going to stop right there. I do highly recommend you let it cool. However, here is the bottom. Very, very nicely toasted. Super warm. Okay, and that is what the inside looks like. Super moist. It's got a nice crunchy looking top. And I'm going to let that cool for a minute and then I will give it a taste for you.